Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about a TikTok ban and how we can make money off of it. So right now I'm showing you the poly market odds at 68%. This is a super small betting market at less than 3 million volume, but these odds have been going up, which I believe is consistent with the information we're receiving. But I do believe the odds are significantly higher than 68%. So first thing I want to mention is that TikTok had their oral arguments on Friday at the Supreme Court. 6 justices appeared to be very skeptical of TikTok, where only 3 seemed to be pretty comfortable with TikTok. One of TikTok's main arguments is that it's being singled out. One of the concerns is data collection. When we look at TikTok and think about data collection, we may think, okay, TikTok's Chinese, they're collecting data. So is Temu, so is Shein. That's one of the main arguments that TikTok made. But the justice asked, is Congress meant to take care of things all at once? And TikTok's lawyer was very good at pointing at examples here and there and making strong arguments for other questions asked by the Supreme Court, but when it came to this question, all they could say was no. The fact of the matter is the idea of being singled out makes no sense because the situation with TikTok, not only is it unique in the sense that they have significantly more users than Temu and Shein, but they also collect significantly more data. Shein and Temu, you just buy things, they know what you like to buy, but TikTok has that with their shop, but they also know what you like to watch. They know a bunch of your information and they take your contact list. So I think this argument that TikTok was kind of relying on majorly was a terrible argument, and I don't think the Supreme Court understood their points at all. The next thing. So TikTok heavily leaned on that while there could be potential security risks. They essentially say that TikTok, because it's American and a subsidiary of ByteDance, has First Amendment rights and should be treated like that. And I think the Supreme Court doesn't buy that simply because TikTok is, despite being technically American, it's very obviously completely controlled by China. So a few years ago, ByteDance used TikTok to track reporters, and it's very clear that they can and will, if necessary, use the data to do things they aren't meant to do, and ByteDance is completely at will of the Chinese government. Now, some of you guys may be thinking, regardless of all that I've mentioned, TikTok will not be banned, but instead it'll be sold. You guys might have seen Kevin O'Leary playing golf with Trump the other day. There's the Project Liberty bid to take TikTok. Now, one thing that's very important is that TikTok cannot sell their algorithm. Everybody that's used TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, they'll all say that TikTok's algorithm is by far the best. You watch something, you think of it, boom, it's there. The fact of the matter is, if they can't sell their algorithm, even them being sold to a US company will mean it'll be a much worse app. They'll lose significant time, and there are other stocks that can gain off of this. So we're already seeing articles that are speculating that the Supreme Court is likely to uphold the ban. Now, they say this without, much reason explaining why the Supreme Court signals as such, but it makes sense given how the oral arguments were. We did have the 6 justices very skeptical of TikTok. And for now, we're in waiting period. We're going to be hearing an opinion on Wednesday at latest. Now, people have speculated, and probably accurately, that if the Supreme Court was to throw TikTok a lifeline, they would do it immediately. So essentially, that would mean they'd likely do it today or tomorrow. Like, as the days go by and we hear this silence, I think the TikTok ban odds increase very sharply. So another thing that I want to point out is the Jewish Federation supports this bill to see TikTok banned. This is pretty old news, but essentially, they're concerned TikTok is pushing, pro-Palestinian content and all that. As we know, Israel is a huge ally of America, and Israel has huge influence in America. So just this group backing it, I think that would increase the confidence in a ban. Other than that, we have Meta, super deep pockets, and they are lobbying like crazy for this TikTok ban. As you've seen, Zuckerberg was very anti-Trump, but in these last few days, he bent the knee massively, and he became like, he really flipped the switch. Like, if you looked at him, you would have said this guy's a super Democrat, and now you could even say he's a super Republican with what he's done. So that being said, he's doing the best interest for his company, and I'm sure he would love a ban. Like, there's no reason to doubt that, and he'll probably get that. So another thing I want to mention is I'm bringing up Congress's returns, right? And people have complained, Congress is kind of insider trading, making good returns. You guys got to keep in mind that these Supreme Court justices, they're incentivized by various things, and they have a lot of power. I'm not going to say that they'll necessarily do some sort of insider trading, but you know what? ByteDance is not public. Meta and a bunch of other stocks that can benefit maybe Google, they are public. It's very likely that these justices or their family members hold these stocks. And you know what? Maybe they're not trying to think of being corrupt and thinking of money, but it is in their back of their mind, no doubt. So that being said, they probably do want to help their own pockets. And honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if they're calling their cousins and doing something they shouldn't be doing, saying like, hey, buy these calls or something, right? Like, we're going to ban this. As sad as it is, I mean, people do this kind of stuff all the time, and it wouldn't put, like, I wouldn't doubt that they would do it too, really. Now, what stock might benefit? I think the one people mention a lot would be Meta. And, it would benefit, no doubt, but Meta is a huge company. They would gain probably the most share from TikTok, but as a fraction of their revenue and looking at their size, it would still be minor. So would I long Meta off a TikTok ban or before a TikTok ban? No, I wouldn't. Google, Google owns YouTube. We got the YouTube Shorts. Same idea as Meta. Will they benefit? Yes. Is it the best play? No. And then here is Snap. Is Snap the best play if TikTok gets banned? I would say absolutely. Like, every time we've seen a TikTok ban rumor in the past few years, the market has reacted so vigorously with Snap. Now, Snap's overall stock performance is horrible, but that's definitely not alarming if you want to play this TikTok news, simply because all the other TikTok rallies faded because they weren't true. This one, if it's true, I mean, I would say within a day, you'd probably see Snap at 15. Analyst upgrades would roll in. Within 5 trading days, it's probably at something like 18. Now, there's a lot of things that could prevent this, like TikTok getting banned and then a sale coming in, which then dampens the rally. The market's not been incredibly strong. That could dampen the rally, but I mean, this stock going to at least 15 off of a TikTok ban is nearly guaranteed. And guys, I really wouldn't wait for the ban to pass before jumping in, because yes, if you buy it before the ban comes, you do risk that it doesn't get banned and Snap drops. But thing is, after it's banned, it's gonna be up so quick that you likely will miss the majority of, or not necessarily the majority, but you'll miss such a large portion of the rally. I just don't think it's worth waiting. And you don't really have to worry about your money sitting dead now, because with all the old TikTok news, the big question was when, and now our when has shifted really to this week. So we don't know whether that's going to be today up until Friday, but we do know that Supreme Court will decide before January 19th without any doubt. So this, I think, is the best play. I see some folks mentioning Pinterest or Reddit to capitalize on this ban, and these are honestly horrible ideas, to be honest, because with Snap, you have Spotlight, which is a copycat. With Meta, they have their copycat. Google has their copycat. Reddit and Pinterest don't really have a quality copycat. And they have completely different user bases. The overlap between, Reddit users and TikTok users versus TikTok and Snap users, I mean, with Snap, they have that young demographic. Everybody using Snap's using TikTok, whereas Reddit, it's quite a niche demographic, and I would consider Pinterest to be the same. So the amount they'd benefit compared to Snap, for example, is definitely less. And I think one thing you could probably easily point to is just seeing how the stocks moved on Friday. I think that in itself, where Reddit, Pinterest, Google, and Meta were significantly weaker than Snap after that hearing, I think that in itself is just a clear indication. Like, if you do believe in a ban, you really have to go with Snap. And if you don't believe in a ban and you want to go short something, then go with Snap. But these other plays like Reddit and Pinterest they're just kind of ridiculous. Like, it's just not a good choice, not a good correlation. I see people bringing it up a lot. It's just, I think they lack an understanding on it. But yeah, if you want to play it a bit more safe, you can go for Meta and Google, but you probably won't see very oversized gains. It just depends on you. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. And if you have any comments, you can just let me know. I'm pretty confident on this TikTok ban, as I've mentioned. But if there's any reasons you do not think that'll happen, feel free to let me know, and we'll see very soon anyway. So, bye everyone.